In this video, I want to talk about a couple of things. One, the fact that they shut down the studio who worked on Alone in the Dark 2024 because of course it didn't meet expectations. Failed to meet sales expectations, which I don't think they say how much they expected for it to sell, but it doesn't matter. It was probably some outlandish number, like it usually is. And this prompted a couple of a couple of points I want to talk about. One, why do they keep rebooting this franchise? Honestly, this is like the third reboot. I mean, if you count Alone in the Dark New Nightmare, which was also considered Alone in the Dark 4, I think. But yeah, they rebooted it in the 360 generation and then they rebooted it now. And it has always been a flop. So why did they think this time it was gonna be different? Because they were copying Resident Evil Remake 2? I don't know. Alone in the Dark is one of those games that feels like it has recognition, but not for the game itself, but more like because it was the inspiration for Resident Evil. But on its own, Alone in the Dark has never been a big seller. It's more its fame, like I said, as an inspiration for Resident Evil. But as a franchise, it has always been quite mediocre in the sense, in terms of sales, I mean. So the fact that they keep rebooting it over and over and over, only for it to keep flopping, maybe you should realize that this is not a franchise that can sell a lot on the name alone. So unless you put a small budget on it, unless you allocate a way smaller budget on it, it's always gonna flop. Also, I think they also spent a lot of money on this reboot to hire famous voice actors, but I don't know who they did hire, honestly. I haven't followed much this game. But yeah, it flopped. And it came out like, how long ago? It came out 1 month ago, I think. Barely, one or 2 months ago. And it already, like, they already closed down the studio. Okay. There was a turbo flop, if I ever seen one. So yeah, this is the type of game that doesn't really sell. You need to spend less on it if you want to make some money off of it. This is not a big name franchise. I don't think it has ever been, honestly. Not even when it was new. So, and this also makes me think about Tomb Raider, the classic Tomb Raiders. I have the impression that the classic Tomb Raiders were famous mostly because they starred a sexy woman in them, other than the game themselves. Especially the first one. I mean, the first one in terms of gameplay, for the time it came out, was okay, because as far as I remember, the consoles didn't even have a controller with analog sticks, so it was kind of hard to program a 3D game without analogs. And in fact, the controls in the classic Tomb Raiders are kind of janky. But I don't think there was a better alternative for Tomb Raider 1. so they had to make do with what they had. But by the time Tomb Raider 3, I think, or Tomb Raider 4 came out, there were already plenty of 3D games that used analog controls. And as far as I remember, Tomb Raider still kept using the same control scheme. They really didn't update it. At that point, was really obsolete in '99. Mostly the same control scheme that the first one had. So yeah, and like I said, Tomb Raider is another of those games that was popular more for external reasons other than the game itself. Also because you barely see people talking about the gameplay when it comes to those games. Even when you look at discussions online, I don't know, maybe this is just my impression, but this is the vibe I get when I see the classic Tomb Raiders, and also Alone in the Dark as well. There are games that are more famous for external reasons, for reasons that are not the game itself, but more the more reasons that surround the game, that are external to the game itself, complemental to the game itself. I don't know, how do you want to call it? But yeah, it's just a reflection, a personal consideration on these two franchises, but also franchises. There are probably other franchises that are like this, that are like famous, but not really in terms of people liking the gameplay, but more for other reasons. And also, honestly, software houses should stop putting too much money into projects that are clearly never gonna recoup the costs. Like, just stop. Just stop. I mean, you will think at this point they will have learned. But no, they just keep making the same fucking mistake. And I mean, this should have been a double-A game at best. But no, they thought they knew, they thought they knew better. Yeah. Oh well. As usual, let me know what you think, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye bye.